I will sing your praise. Everything I will worship you. You've taken the pain and the sorrow away. You've given me peace undeniable. No need to cry, cause your love is free. You're my father, my everything. Oh, man. Hello? Good morning. No? If you can hear me, can you please type in yes? If you can hear me, can you please type in yes so that we can start off? Good morning. Welcome. Good morning. If you can hear me, please let me have your yes. Can you type in yes in the chat, please? Good morning. Welcome to today's Plan Your Trade. Trade Your Plan Forex review for the 29th of April. If you can hear me, please let me have your yes. Okay. Without further waste of time, let's commence with what we have for today. So I hope you all have read this. This is my Telegram handle and this is my Twitter handle if you would wish to get across to me with your questions. So let's start off today. As always, we start off with our Forex review, with our Forex factory to have a look at our upcoming fundamental news releases, because as a trader, you need to be aware of the dates and times of some very strategic news releases. as they could create a bit of volatility in the market. So today, the only high impact news we have is the Bank of England. Governor Carney will be talking at the Innovate Finance Global Summit in London. Since there is no audience questions, it may carry weight, it may not carry weight, but we need to be aware of it. It's 10 minutes after 9 local time. So the next pair we'll be looking at, so let's start off our day. As always, our first pair of reference is the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index, we get to look at it from the daily point of view. If we look at the dollar from a daily point of view, let me hide. If we look at the dollar from a daily point of view, it closed with the doji on Friday. And if we go down to the 4-hour, we have a kind of double top. So if we pull back our tools, a very simple way of using the analysis I gave is you just note the levels. What you do is you pay attention to the levels and what price does when it gets to those levels. So looking at the dollar index, it found support at 97.88. There is a high tendency that it may drop to this 97.89. If this level is not broken, it may bounce up. But if this level is broken, then you may see a scenario of something like this: break, retest, and a move down. Or it may come in here, find support here, and move back up. So these are the possible options of play on the dollar index. Then the next one we'll be looking at is gold. Now gold seems to be in a bit of a down move. Let's look at gold from a daily point of view. Let me see what I have on gold daily point of view. Oh, somebody is saying I'm breaking. If you can hear me clearly without any interruption, please type in here so that I know if I have to change my network. If you can hear me clearly without any interruptions, can you please type in yes? Can you all hear me? If you all can hear me. Hello, can you all hear me? Can you all hear me clearly? Okay, let me continue. Okay, so looking at gold, I have this gold analysis on another setup. So looking at gold from a daily point of view, let me hide that. If you look at gold from a daily point of view, gold closed pretty bullish on Friday, as you can see with this bullish candle. So what you might see is you might see a bit of a pullback into this candle. A bit of a pullback into this candle. For now, gold seems to be finding support of the daily 13 moving average at 1282. Somebody's saying there's music in the background. If you've ever watched me trade, there's always music in the background when I trade. It helps me. When the place is too quiet, it doesn't help me. So sometimes there has to be music in the background. So sorry if it's disturbing some of you. So the next pair, now let's get to gold on the 4-hour. On the daily for gold, we can see that it closed bullish on Friday. So now let's drop in our levels on gold and get an idea. So now on gold, price is currently at the first support, the second support, because as at the time this was done, price was still above this level. So now price is above this support at 1283. This support. If this support holds, price may likely move back up to this resistance at 1289. But there is a tendency that this is what you may see happen. You may see price drop to this level and move up. That is, price has the tendency to find support at let me show the level of support here. Price has a tendency to find support here at 1283, at 1280.39. Price may drop down into this place, and if this area holds as support, price may likely go back up. Because if you look at the daily move on Friday, there's something I always advise you do. When you have this kind of a daily candle, it's a big daily close. What you just do is you pick your fib on only that daily candle from the low to the high. You pick it, then you drop down to your lower time frame. And if you drop down to your lower time frame and you look at this, you'll find out that gold is currently sitting at the 38.2. And that level that I gave, 1280, comes in at slightly above the 61.8 level. Comes in at slightly above the 61.8 level. So that is what you need to be aware of on gold. You might see a bit of a correction before the continuation move. Because if you look at gold, for now, on the 4-hour, it is looking bullish. It is looking currently bullish on the 4-hour. So you might see a bit of a pullback and then a move further up. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the EURUSD. USDCHF. Next pair we'll be looking at is USDCHF. So looking at the USDCHF, let me hide all these tools. If you look at it, on Friday, it closed as a long upper, it closed as what you call a kimber. And if you observe, there is 1, 2, 3 rejections from this area. So on this pair, what you might most likely see, the same thing you did on gold, you do it for this pair. From the top to the bottom, you just draw your fib. From this top to this bottom. Oh, all these lines have come back. Thought they won't come back now. Oh, okay. Not stress. Work with it. So if we draw in those levels, you find out that this is my first resistance zone. If price goes above this level at 1.0198, it has the tendency to run up to either the 38.2 or the 61.8 area. So you'll be looking at your resistance, first resistance, second resistance after 1.0198. Your next level of resistance will be 0.0205. Your next level will be 1.0211 and 1.0217. So these are levels you need to watch. But as long as price stays below this first level here, 1.0198, it has a tendency to go down. So you just know that this is the first level of support, second level, and this is the third level of support, as the case may be. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the EURUSD. And looking at the EURUSD, Having a bit of a slow network this morning. Hold on a minute, let me switch my network. I'm experiencing a bit of a lag in my network, so please hold on while I switch my network. Hello, can you hear me now? If you can hear me, let me have your yes, please. Hello? If you can hear me, let me have your yes. If you can hear me, let me have your yes, please. Okay, because I just noticed that my network is a bit slow. So if we look at Euro USD on Friday, let me remove the line so that we can look at it logically. There is something that happened on Friday. There is a low at 11:08 and there's another low at 11:19. These lows are from way back June 2017 and 30th May 2017. So if it's breaking, it might be network. I've switched to another network. So if it's breaking, it might be the location of today. I don't know what else to do. So if you look at the trade of Friday, it closed. This is slightly bullish because if you let me show you, this candle was bearish up to this low, and the sellers came in and drove price back up. It was bullish up to this point. That's at 1174 before the sellers came in and drove it back down, and that was as a result of a reaction from this point here. So knowing that, we pull back our levels, and if we pull back our levels, we drop down to our 4 hour. So you see, price dropped, broke through this level, but immediately closed back above it. So everybody who were selling at this point and did not manage their trades well, they are already stuck at this point. And price is not most likely, as long as 1144 holds, there is a tendency that price may come up to either this resistance zone that's between 1.1176 to 1.1188, or to this psychological level at 1.1200. Let me note that level now. Okay. So these are the possible playouts for Euro USD. As long as this support here holds, there is a tendency that price may either move to R1, R2, or R3, as the case may be. But for now, there seems to be a correction to the upside on the Euro USD. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the GBPUSD. Looking at the GBPUSD, let me hide all my levels, then we look at it from a daily point of view. If we look at GBPUSD from a daily point of view, we seem to have a sort of a bullish move, although it didn't close near its high. It closed a little bit far from its high, but still slightly tilted to the top side. So we go down to, we pull back our levels, then we drop down to our 4 hour chart. If we drop down to our 4 hour chart, you can find out that the GBPUSD is now testing this resistance zone, the lower part of this resistance zone, that is between 1.2943 to 1.2964. So a break above this resistance area and this trend line, as you can see, there's this trend line on the 4 hour. The trend line is running from this high down to this place. A break above this trend line will signal a big correction. But for now, price may break above this resistance or come down to find support at this level. But if you look at the last 4-hour close, the last 4-hour close has a kind of a bullish morning star. Do you see it? 1, 2, 3 off this support level. So what that points to is further bullish move. So on the GBPUSD, so we might see a bit of further upward run on the GBPUSD for today. The next pair we'll be looking at is the EURGBP. Looking at the EURGBP seems to be a bit of ranging. Seems to be ranging. If you look at it from the daily point of view, it's looking a bit bearish, but this spinning top is showing a kind of indecision, and we've not gotten any lower close yet on the daily. So go down back to our 1 hour, drop to our levels. So you can see what price has been doing. Price has just been bouncing between 0.8638 and 0.8625. So that's what price has just really been doing. But should this support level 86.24 give way, then you know the next support is 86.18. And as you can see, wicks to the top side and wicks to the downside, but more wicks to the upside, showing more downward pressure. And should this EURGBP give way, inversely, you know that there is a greater chance of the GBP pairs moving up very fast, as a weak EURGBP signals a strong British pound, which will give strength to most pound pairs. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the GBPCHF. Looking at the GBPCHF, let me hide some of these levels. If we look at it, also there's this inverted candle on the daily. Price has not really tested it. So, and if you look at the close of Friday, it's a small body candle. Wicks on both sides shows you indecision being played out at this level. So if we go down to our 4-hour and pull back our levels, we'll notice that price for now is at the second level of resistance. If you notice, this trend line has been broken to the top side. The first level of resistance has been broken, that's at 3186. Price is now reacting to the zone between the second and the third level of resistance. So now, what we might see, we are looking at the bullish scenario on the GBPCHF. So price may likely play this. If price drops and finds support at this prior resistance, which may turn support, price may move higher. So that is the scenario for the GBPCHF. We might wait to see what price does when it comes down to 1.3186. What it does there will determine if it will move higher or lower. A move back below 1.3186 will bring price back to this trend line. There's a trend line here. Then you know that price may drop down to this trend line here to find support. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the AUDUSD. Looking at the AUDUSD for now, let's get the view of the daily. Friday's candle closed bullish. You can see Friday's candle closed bullish. We can say, yes, closed bullish, pin bar, and a bullish engulfing. So we pull back our levels and drop down to our 1-hour time frame. So for now, price is at the first level of resistance and seems to be reacting from it. So this is resistance 1, 0.7059, and this is support 1, 0.7027. So well, we might see price drop down to this level. Price may drop down to this level at 0.7040 or maybe even 0.70. Either of these two levels, either 0.7048 and find support to move higher, or 0.7040. So let me note it. So this is your, oh, why is this not accepting? So this is R1, R2, R3. But be aware that the Euro US AUD USD is in a sort of a bullish move for now. If you notice, left head, right shoulder. So we might see further upside on this pair. The next pair we'll be looking at is the USDJPY. Looking at the USDJPY, we'll go to the daily view. We'll go to the daily view. Let me remove all my levels so that we can see how the candle. Well, we have a bullish engulfing here. No, sorry, a bearish engulfing. Price pulled back into the body on Friday and closed with a long upper wick. That shows you bullish, bearish trend. So what we'll be looking for now, the same thing you did for gold, you might do it here, from the top to the bottom of only Friday's candle. Then what will you be looking for? We drop down to the 1 hour time frame. If you drop down to the 1 hour time frame, what we'll be having there now, if we look, I'm almost running out of time. Let me hurry up. Price currently is below the 50% of Friday. So what you'll be waiting for is what price would do between the 61.8, that's 11.111.80. So that might be a potential level of resistance. So you might see price do this and continue down because there is a trend line here. There is a 4-hour trend line here. So price may be from there and move down to there. If this trend line holds, it might go further up. But if this trend line holds, then it may be coming for the low of Friday. So this level here, the low of Friday, will be your first level of support here. 11144 before 11128. That's for the USDJPY. The next one I'm looking at is the Euro Yen. Looking at the Euro Yen, go to the daily so I get an idea of how the daily candle closed. Friday's candle didn't closed as an indecision. You can see wicks to the top side, wicks to the bottom. Not a very, very clear bearish, bullish close. So what we do, we go down to the 1 hour. And as we can see, price seems to be breaking above the R1, 124.65. Somebody is asking, well, I don't know what's the likely impact. I always tell people what you can't find in the daytime, you will not see it in the night. I don't trade Asian session. I do not. So I would just advise you, since you're in GMT +1, just gently take your sleep. Your sleep is good. You need a sound mind to trade the following morning. It would not affect European and American session, just mainly Asian and Australian sessions. So for those people that will be trading around that time, well, I don't know what to say for. I do not personally trade during those periods. So looking at the yen pair, Euro yen, we may see something like this. We may see a drop down to this level and a move up. Since we have a close above this level, that's 124.65. Should it hold as support, price may move higher. But should price break back below, then we may see a move lower on price. Let me check something on this pair. Let me check something on this pair. Yep. It might be going back up because we have a low and a higher low. We already have a higher high. So this pair, if it pulls back, you look for evidence to join them further up. That's what we might be having on this pair. So the next pair we're looking at is the Euro Yen. Looking at the Euro Yen, no, GBP Pound Yen, sorry, Pound Yen. Looking at the Pound Yen from a daily point of view, let me hide this level. The same thing too, indecision, but it seems to be correcting up a bit. There's a support level here, as you can see. So price hit it, so that support level is still in play. So we go down to our 1 hour chart. We'll go down to our 1 hour chart. Let me go down to the 4 hour because I need to show something here. This trend line is running all the way from this point, and price broke it. So the question now is price doing a retest? The retest will only be confirmed if we get a close above this falling trend line. You see, from this top to this point, if price does not go above here, then we might see a move back down. That's what we might see. We might most likely see a move back down on this pair. That's what we might just be looking at on this pair. That's what we might just be looking at on this pair. So we'll see what happens here. If this place holds as resistance, then we'll be looking at price to drop and find support at 144.44. If that level holds as support, then price may try up. But if that level fails as support, then price may drop lower. That's just it. So the next one we'll be looking at is the EURAUD. Looking at the EURAUD, the daily point of view. Let me hide all this. If we look at EURAUD from the daily point of view, we notice something here. This is a bullish anchor candle. Most often, a bullish anchor candle, the open price is always a level of support, as you can see. That open price has been using it as support. So now, knowing this, we go down, put back our levels, go down to the 1 hour time frame. Go back to the 1 hour time frame, that open price is where price is currently at now. So what you may be looking for is a bit of a bounce. Price may bounce a bit higher. If price corrects up a bit, then you look for it to either come to either this level or, let me see, just wait for price. If price bounces from any level of resistance around here and starts to go down, then you may think of executing a short position. But that's just it. Your first level of support, price is currently at it. Second level of support comes in at 1.5791 with this trend line intersecting this level. So this place is a very important area to watch. That's this 1.5791. The next one we'll be looking at is the GBPAUD. Looking at the GBPAUD, as you can see, its level of support is holding. As you can see, 1, 2. So we might be seeing a bit of a move up. If this move up fails, then we may be looking at price coming back down hard on this pair. Maybe looking at price coming back down hard on this GBPAUD. So the next pair, let me quickly, I have 3 minutes remaining. So next pair we're looking at is the USDCAD. USDCAD for now is sitting above support. So the question is, how high will he rally to? So the question is, he may get to this resistance, and if this place holds as resistance, then we may see a move back down to either 1.3442 or this area here. So what you might do, let me look at how the daily candle looks like. Okay, the same thing too. All you just need to do is from the top to the bottom, plot your fib and watch what happens. So you drop down to the 1 hour time frame, and you drop down to the 1 hour time frame, and you watch. The 38.2 comes in at 1.3695. The 50% lines up with a prior resistance, that is at 1.3473. So those are just levels you'll be watching to see what price does at those levels. So the next pair, the final pair I'll be looking at is, well, GBPCAD is ranging. That's why I shaded it in this area. Top resistance is 1.74. 1.7333, lower support 1.7368. A break above this top resistance will take it up to this trend line here. A break below this level of support will take it down to 1.7317. So that is it for today. I wish you all a beautiful and blessed trading day ahead. Thank you all for coming. Don't forget, if you have any questions, you can reach across to me through any of these handles, and I'll be glad to answer your question. Thank you.